Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Today. It's Wednesday morning, and we're glad to have you along with us.
We certainly are. We'll begin with some sobering new information on the coronavirus pandemic. The head of the UN just this morning describing it as the worst global crisis since World War II.
And it's hard to argue with that when you look at some of these numbers. Here at home, the nation's top doctors are now estimating that even with strict social distancing measures in place, in the best case scenario, as many as 240,000 Americans could die from COVID-19.
As of this morning, the number stands at nearly 4,000 with 188,000 cases overall. Now, compare that to just 1 month ago when there were 2 deaths and just 89 cases here in the U.S.
In the meantime, New York City has passed another terrible milestone, more than 1,000 coronavirus deaths in less than 3 weeks.
And a newly approved test for the virus that can deliver results in as little as 5 minutes, well, that begins shipping today. The head of the FDA has called this a game changer in the fight.
Our team is in position covering every angle this morning. Let's start with NBC's Tom Costello. Tom, good morning to you.
Good morning. The message from the CDC and the White House to Main Street USA, be prepared. As you mentioned, in a best case scenario, this country could see as many as 240,000 people die as a result of this pandemic. And if the country does not engage in social distancing and isolation, that death toll could be in the millions. President Trump, with top public health experts delivering a grim forecast for the coronavirus pandemic now gripping the country.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead. We're going to go through a very tough 2 weeks. This is going to be a very painful, very painful 2 weeks.
The White House displaying this stunning slide, showing even if current social distancing guidelines are maintained, the White House projects 100,000 to 240,000 deaths in the U.S. over the next several months, a casualty rate that would eclipse the number of American lives lost in the Vietnam War.
As sobering a number as that is, we should be prepared for it.
The new data showing the current pace of the epidemic spread in the U.S., the epicenter of New York, illustrated in this steep curve. The president singling out the governors of New York and New Jersey.
For whatever reason, New York got off to a very late start. And you see what happens when you get off to a late start. New Jersey got off to, and I think both governors are doing an excellent job, but they got off to a very late start.
A spokesperson for New York Governor Cuomo responding, this is not the time to debate, but the states were not slow to respond. The federal government was absent. The alarming forecast prompting the president to extend those social distancing guidelines until the end of April, backing off his comments from last week when he said he hoped the country would reopen for business by Easter. Even with 3/4 of Americans subject to stay-at-home orders in their states, more than a dozen governors, many in the South and the West, have declined to issue those orders statewide. Overnight, during an NBC News special, Savannah asked Dr. Anthony Fauci if enough is being done to keep the death rate down.
Is the social distancing that's being done right now in every state enough for that scenario to occur?
The mitigation and social distancing clearly works. We need to put our foot on the accelerator and not on the brake. We have 30 days of the extension of the mitigation, the guidelines. We need to really push.
A point also echoed earlier by Dr. Deborah Birx.
There's no magic bullet. There's no magic vaccine or therapy. It's just behaviors.
A quick note on the economy, because nationwide, stores like this one here at Pike and Rose, the stores are closed down in Maryland, as in much of the country. Restaurants, they're trying to offer takeout service to keep their businesses going. But listen to this stat about air travel. On a typical day before this pandemic, we would have 2.5 million people traveling on a typical day in the air. On Monday, there were fewer than 200,000. The economy has just absolutely hit a wall. Savannah, back to you.
Yes,